I was doing, I did. Right now, do you know the difference? Because this one choice, this one tiny decision inside your English story, is the difference between a story that is clear and a story that leaves your listener confused.
And if you have ever told a story in English and felt like something sounded slightly off, like the events did not quite sit in the right place, this is exactly why. And today we are fixing it completely.
Welcome to English Flow Podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm William. And today we are not wasting a single second. We are going straight into one of the most important past tense distinctions in the entire English language.
I was doing, and I did. Past continuous versus past simple. Two past tenses, two completely different jobs inside every story you tell.
I did. Something happened. A single completed event. The action is finished. Done. One moment in the past.
I was doing, something was in progress, already happening, when something else came along and interrupted it, or just a background action setting the scene of the past.
Completed event? I did. In progress background? I was doing.
And when you use these two tenses together in the same story, your English does something beautiful. It creates depth. It creates color. It creates the feeling of being inside the story.
Today, we are going to make that feel completely natural, completely yours.
No grammar panic, no confusing charts, just real stories, told the right way.
Subscribe to English Flow Podcast right now if you have not already. And let's go.
Let's flow.
Before examples, before anything, let's feel the difference, because the feeling is everything.
Imagine a painting, a landscape, a countryside scene. There are trees in the background, soft light, rolling hills, a river running through it.
That background, the trees, the hills, the light, that is I was doing, the background of the story, the things that were already happening, already in progress, the atmosphere.
And now, right in the middle of that painting, there is a figure, a person, and that person is doing something. Running, falling, waving, one clear action in the foreground.
That figure, that single action, that is I did, the event, the thing that happened, the completed action that the story is really about.
Background, I was doing. Foreground event, I did.
Let's make it real. I was walking home when it started to rain.
I was walking, the background, the thing already in progress. The scene was set. The walking was already happening.
It started to rain, the event, the thing that happened, the completed arrival of the rain. I did.
The walking is the background, continuous and in progress. The rain starting is the event, sudden and completed. Together, they create a story.
And that combination, was doing plus did, is one of the most powerful storytelling tools in the English language.
Background in progress, I was doing. Event that happened, I did.
And once you feel that, every story you tell in English becomes richer, more vivid, more alive. Let's explore each one properly now, starting with I was doing.
I was doing, the past continuous. And the feeling of I was doing is ongoing, in progress, already happening at a specific moment in the past.
When you use I was doing, you are describing an action that was already underway at a particular moment. It had started. It had not finished. It was in the middle of happening.
I was cooking dinner when the phone rang. The cooking was already in progress. It had started before the phone rang. It was ongoing. I was doing.
She was sleeping when the alarm went off. The sleeping was already happening, in progress. The alarm came into an already ongoing situation. I was doing.
They were laughing about something when I walked in. The laughing was already underway, already in progress. I arrived into it. I was doing.
He was reading in the garden when it started to pour. Already reading, already outside. The rain came into an existing scene. I was doing.
In all of those, the was doing action is the background, the scene, the thing already in progress when something else happened.
And the key words and phrases that signal I was doing, that signal the past continuous, are the ones that point to a specific moment or an interruption.
When, while, as, at that moment, at 7 o'clock yesterday, all day, all morning.
I was studying when she called, when an interruption came into the ongoing action.
While I was driving, I heard a strange noise. While, two actions, one in progress, one interrupting.
I was working all day yesterday. All day. The action stretched through the whole period, ongoing throughout.
At 8 o'clock last night, I was watching a film, a specific pastime, and the action was in progress at that moment.
And I was doing is also used to describe two actions that were both in progress at the same time, happening simultaneously, both ongoing, both in the background.
While she was cooking, he was setting the table. Both in progress at the same time, both ongoing, both I was doing.
I was listening to music while I was writing the report. Two simultaneous ongoing actions.
They were talking while the children were playing in the garden. Both in progress at the same time. Beautiful, natural, I was doing.
And I was doing creates something else. Atmosphere, mood, the texture of a past moment.
The sun was setting. The birds were singing. People were walking slowly along the street. All past continuous, all painting the scene, all creating the mood of that past moment.
None of those are events. None of those are things that happened and finished. They are all the background, the painting, the atmosphere.
I was doing, the background painter, the scene setter, the action in progress, the ongoing story already underway. Now, I did, the past simple, and the feeling of I did is completion, a single event, something that happened and then it was done.
When you use I did, you are pointing at a specific finished action in the past, something that occurred, something that completed itself, something that moved the story forward.
She called me at midnight. One event, one moment, completed. I did.
He opened the door and walked in. Two events, both completed, both finished. I did.
The alarm went off and I woke up immediately. Event, then event, sequential, completed. I did.
We heard a loud noise and ran outside. Heard, event, ran, event. Both completed, both I did.
In all of those, each action is complete, finished. It happened, it ended, done.
And the past simple is the tense of sequential storytelling. When you move through a story, one event after another, I did carries you forward.
I woke up, I got dressed, I made coffee, I left the house, I got on the train. Every verb, simple past. Every action, completed. Every step moving the story forward. I did.
1, then 2, then 3, then 4. That sequence, that is always I did.
And the key words that signal I did, the simple past, are the ones that place a moment clearly and completely in the past.
Yesterday, last week, last night, in 2018, at 7 o'clock, then, after that, suddenly, immediately, finally, eventually.
She suddenly laughed. Suddenly, a sudden completed event.
He eventually made a decision. Eventually, a completed decision.
I called her immediately. Immediately, a quick completed action.
They finally arrived at midnight. Finally, a completed arrival after waiting.
All signal words of completed, finished, single past events. All I did.
And now, the most beautiful part. When I was doing and I did come together in the same sentence, in the same story, magic happens.
I was having a shower when the doorbell rang. I was having, the background, in progress, then rang, the completed event, the interruption.
She was telling me something important when her phone went off. Was telling, background in progress, went off, the event, the interruption.
They were just sitting down to eat when the power cut out. Were sitting down, in progress, cut out, the completed event, the interruption.
Background in progress, I was doing, event that interrupted, I did, together, a complete, vivid, natural English story.
Let's put them right next to each other now. Feel the shift. Feel how the meaning changes completely.
Let's go.
I read a book last night versus I was reading a book when she messaged me.
I read a book, a completed event. I read it. Finished. Past simple.
I was reading. The reading was in progress, already happening. Then something came along. Past continuous.
It rained yesterday versus it was raining when we left the house.
It rained. A completed past event. The rain happened. Past simple.
It was raining when we left. The rain was already in progress. The background. When we stepped outside, it was already happening. Past continuous.
He called me versus he called me while I was cooking.
He called me, one event. Completed. Past simple.
He called me while I was cooking. The call is still the completed event, but now the cooking is the ongoing background. Past continuous painting the scene of the call.
I worked all day versus I was working all day when the news broke.
I worked all day. A completed period of work. Past simple.
I was working all day. The work was ongoing and in progress throughout the day. And into that ongoing work, the news broke. The event arrived.
Now, the most common mistakes, because they are so natural and so easy to fix.
Mistake 1. Using I did for background actions. People say, I cooked dinner when she arrived.
If the cooking was already in progress when she arrived, then it should be, I was cooking dinner when she arrived. The cooking is the background. She arriving is the event.
But if the cooking happened after she arrived, then I cooked dinner when she arrived. Past simple is correct. Sequence. She arrived, then I cooked.
Order matters. Background, I was doing. Sequence, I did.
Mistake 2. Using I was doing for a sequence of completed events. People say, I was getting up, I was getting dressed, I was making coffee, I was leaving.
These are not background actions. These are sequential events, one after another, completed. So, I got up, I got dressed, I made coffee, I left. Past simple, I did.
Past continuous for background and atmosphere. Past simple for sequence and completed events.
Mistake 3. Forgetting was and just using the ing form alone. People say, I cooking dinner when she called.
The past continuous always needs was or were before the ing verb. I was cooking, she was sleeping, they were talking. Was or were always. Without it, the past continuous does not exist.
Was cooking, were laughing, was driving. Always was or were plus the ing verb.
Now, let's hear both tenses inside a real, vivid, natural story. Someone is telling their friend what happened to them last weekend.
You will not believe what happened to me on Saturday. I was walking through the market, just browsing, not really looking for anything, when I spotted something incredible.
What was it?
A first edition book, the exact one I had been looking for. I was holding my coffee in one hand and I almost dropped it when I saw the cover.
No way. What did you do?
I picked it up immediately. My hands were shaking. The seller was standing nearby talking to another customer. He did not even notice me at first.
How much was it?
That is the thing. While I was looking at the price, another person walked up and reached for the same book.
Oh no. What happened?
I grabbed it. I genuinely just grabbed it out of reflex. The other person looked shocked. I apologized immediately. I was not thinking. I just reacted.
Did you get it?
I got it. I paid, I walked out, and I was smiling the whole way home.
Let's notice every form.
I was walking through the market. Past continuous, background, already in progress when the discovery happened.
I spotted, past simple, the event, the completed moment of seeing the book.
I was holding my coffee, past continuous, already in progress at the moment of spotting.
I almost dropped it. Past simple. A near event. Completed moment of almost dropping.
I picked it up. Past simple. A completed action. The picking up happened.
My hands were shaking. Past continuous. Ongoing background state at that moment.
The seller was standing nearby talking. Past continuous. Background. Already in progress.
He did not notice me. Past simple.
a completed observation or lack of it.
While I was looking at the price, past continuous, ongoing action as the background.
Another person walked up and reached, past simple, two sequential completed events.
I grabbed it, past simple, a completed action.
I apologized, past simple, completed.
I was not thinking, past continuous, ongoing mental state at that moment.
I just reacted, past simple, a completed action.
I got it, I paid, I walked out. Three sequential completed events, past simple, past simple, past simple.
I was smiling the whole way home, past continuous, an ongoing background state throughout the journey home.
Past continuous painting the scene. Past simple moving the story forward. Together, a vivid, natural, beautifully told story.
That is what these two tenses do when they work together. They do not compete, they collaborate.
Final part. Let's practice together one last time before we close.
I will give you a sentence with a blank. Choose I was doing form or I did form. Think about the signal. Is this a background action in progress or a completed event? Then Sarah gives the answer.
Ready? Here we go.
I blank a shower when I heard a strange noise downstairs.
Was having. The shower was already in progress. Background. Past continuous. I was having a shower when I heard the noise.
She blanked the door and walked straight in without knocking.
Opened. Two sequential completed events. Past simple. She opened the door and walked in.
They blank dinner when the power suddenly went off.
Were having. The dinner was in progress. Background. Past continuous. They were having dinner when the power went off.
While she blank, he blanked the table quietly so as not to disturb her.
Was working. Set. While she was working, background in progress, he set the table. Completed event. Past continuous and past simple.
I blank up, blank my face, and blank downstairs.
Got up, washed, went. Three sequential completed events. Past simple throughout. I got up, washed my face, and went downstairs.
He blinked to me when his phone suddenly blank.
Was talking. Rang. He was talking to me. Background in progress. His phone suddenly rang. The interrupting event. Past continuous and past simple.
The children blank in the garden all afternoon while their parents blank inside.
Were playing, talked. The children were playing, ongoing throughout the afternoon. Their parents talked, a completed or ongoing action inside. Both past forms working in the same scene.
I blank my keys and blank all the way to the station before I blanked them.
Left, walked, realized, had left. I left my keys, completed. Walked all the way, completed. Realized, completed event. Had left, past perfect reaching back. All past simple plus past perfect for the earlier event.
Wonderful. Every single one. The feeling guided the choice.
Let's close with the final clear summary. Short, powerful, yours forever.
I was doing, the past continuous. Use it for actions that were already in progress at a specific past moment. Use it for the background of a story, the scene, the atmosphere, the ongoing actions. Use it with when and while to show an action in progress when something else happened. Use it for two simultaneous past actions. Use it for mood and atmosphere, describing the texture of a past moment. Always formed with was or were plus the ing verb.
I did, the past simple. Use it for completed, finished events in the past. Use it to move a story forward. One event, then another, then another. Use it with signal words like suddenly, immediately, finally, eventually, then, after that, yesterday, last week. Use it for the events that interrupt or arrive into the background.
The quick check. Was this action already in progress at that past moment? I was doing. Did this action happen and complete itself? I did.
Background in progress. I was doing. Completed event. I did.
Say it one last time with us.
Background in progress. I was doing. Completed event. I did.
That is your compass. That is your guide.
And remember, the next time you tell a story in English, use both. Use I was doing to paint the scene. Use I did to make things happen. Together, your stories will have depth, color, and the natural rhythm of real English.
You were already learning this. You just did not have the words for it yet. Now you do.
You were listening, we were talking, and something clicked. That is all three I was doing in one sentence.
It never stops, and we love it.
If today's episode helped you, please share it with someone who is learning English. Let's keep this community growing together.
Subscribe to English Flow Podcast and come back every week for real, natural, flowing English made just for you.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm William. Keep flowing.